This is what Erastus was trying to discover when he and his 3 colleagues got kidnapped and beaten by more than 10 armed, heavily built men. Listen.
The Asumenya Forest Reserve is a production forest established in 1940. It covers an area of 22,800 hectares in the Amasia South district of the Ashanti region. About 9,350 football fields of the forest, that is 37.78 kilometers square, has been given out for mining to Edel Metallum Resources Limited. We set out to investigate the environmental infractions engaged in by the company's mining operations at Asumenya. Though the company has been mining for months, our checks indicate they only obtained a license from the Environmental Protection Agency on October 16, 2024. Contrary to its large-scale mining license regulation, the company has been engaged in unconventional artisanal mining methods similar to that adopted by illegal miners. There are no settling ponds or tailings dams as required by law. Contaminated mining residue is left to flow into tributaries of the Ankobra River and the forest environment contrary to water use regulations. The Asumenya River, from which the reserve derives its name, is not visible from the mining mess created here. Our team saw indications of the abstraction of clean groundwater into already polluted surface water without the water use permit by the Water Resources Commission. The devastation runs miles into the Asumenya Forest Reserve. Trees restored under the Ghana Landscape Restoration Project have been pulled down for mining operations. Requests for comment from some known leaders of the company have not yielded any response. The quest of the team to report on the activities of the mine was resisted by a group of armed men claiming to be protecting the concession of Edel Metallum Resources Limited, who physically assaulted the Joy News crew. Reporting for Joy News, Erastus Asaredonko, Asumenya, Amasia South District, Ashanti Region. The
was looking into when the kidnap and assault happened. Erastus joins us now. Let's find out what the latest is with the police case. Erastus, good morning to you.
Good morning, Kojo.
All right. So, can you bring us up to speed? What's the latest from the police on the case you reported?
Well, so yesterday we got invitation from the Manswe Dubia police station that all of us should meet the commander at Manswe Dubia. But Kojo, we raised some security concerns with the Bakwai police that it will be risky for us to travel from Kumasi all the way to Manswe Dubia, because majority of those who assaulted us and threatened to deal with us going forward are still at large. And they are all in that particular area. So we also know the Manswe Road very well, noted for its banditry. So we raised those issues with the Bakwai command. He also told us that they are ready to prosecute, and we told them, yes, that's what we are expecting. So we expect that when prosecution happens, then we can seek security clearance and be in court to support the prosecution.
Right. When they say they are ready to prosecute, have they made any arrests?
So far, we've been shown 3 of the men who they say reported themselves to the police and they were arrested. So far as the 3 we know of.
Were you given the opportunity to identify them?
Yes, we identified one of them was their leader. In fact, he was with them as a leader. The two others were part of those who assaulted us.
Right. Now, these men, as you reported, seized some of your equipment, including a Joy News vest. Did you get these items back?
Yesterday, we 3 days ago when we went back there, we told the police that these items are still outstanding. They said they were going to impress upon the 3 arrested to get the items back for us, but we have not gotten any feedback. So we have a backpack full of drone batteries, 5 of them, a Lenovo tablet, and then a JBL headset, the drone license, and other personal items in the bag.
Great. So, Erastus, 3 of them have reported themselves to the police. What about the others? Did the police tell you of the efforts they are making to arrest the others?
In fact, the Bafai Police Command sent a reinforcement, a number of armed policemen with us. That's 3 days ago. We went there, but we met nobody. I suggested to the police that we could search other portions of it where we believed they could be hiding. But we were told that the police vehicles could not travel those areas. So we came back.
And these 3 persons that the police say they are going to prosecute, currently, where are they? Have they taken their statements? Are they on bail? What's the situation with them?
In fact, for that information, I wouldn't know. I think we should reach out to the police to tell us what has happened to the 3 of them.
Right. Now, did the police say anything about what information they gleaned from interrogating those 3? Anything about the location or whereabouts of the remaining armed men?
In fact, we've not been told that. I tried to get more information yesterday, but the Makwai police commander indicated that they will get back to us on the prosecution dates and all that. But I've not heard from him this morning. We spoke yesterday. So maybe when I get in touch, we'll get more information.
What about the directors and principal officers of the company itself? They've been identified in your report. You know who they are. The police know who they are. Have they been invited, arrested, questioned?
I don't have any information from the police on that one. We personally, myself and my editor, Kofi Adudumfe, we reached out to some members of the company, some executives of the company. I sent a message to one of them. It did not get any response. I have not gotten any response as of now. Kofi also called one of them. He picked and then cut the call. Then we kept calling. Then he sent a message that he will call back, but has since not returned the call.
Right. Now, what about the mining activity, the illegal mining activity you witnessed? You know, the uprooting of those trees that were supposed to replenish the forest and the polluting of the water. Has that been dealt with? Have the authorities gone there to secure the place? Has anything at all been done about the reported unlawful mining activity?
Kojo, as of yesterday, nothing has been done. The Chinese miners who we saw in there, per our information, they are still mining. What is needful to note is that if we are talking about license, yes, we have seen a mining lease. They did not have any EPA license until October 16th. Just this October 16th. But they've been mining for months. That's an illegality. Again, they need, since it's a large-scale mining concession, they need to ratify that mining lease in Parliament. before they can get a digging permit to even start digging the ground. I am sure they have that.
So in effect, even the license to mine is not completely
No,
obtained
it's not complete.
by this company, right?
And they have been engaging in illegality right from the start. And if you see the way they are mining, they are using artisanal mining methods similar to that of Galamsey people. And that is why they do not have any tailings dams. They don't have any settling ponds. When you look at the landscape, the drone footage, you see it's a haphazard type of mining, no organized plan on how they want to mine and even contain the mining residue. So you see the contamination spilling deep into the forest and even the restored areas of the forest.
All right. I want to say a big thank you to you, Erastus. Obviously, we're going to keep an eye on this. So we'll keep checking in with you for updates. Yeah, please stay safe out there.
Thank you, Phil.
That's Erastus Asari Donko, is editor with Love FM and Joy News. And of course, that's the latest, Ray. 3 people voluntarily walked into a police station. We don't know their current status, but we do know that they were positively identified by the victims, including Erastus. And the police say they are ready to prosecute these 3. Nothing beyond that. Nothing about the illegal mining activity that was reported, and certainly nothing about the equipment that was seized.
2 separate incidents. First and foremost, the fact that they are engaged in an activity which is contrary to law in and of itself requires review, investigation, and prosecution if need be. And this matter, we've discussed it. There are people who are pretending or purporting to hold all sorts of documents and yet engaging in illegality.
Yeah.
It's just like saying that you have a license to practice law. It doesn't mean that you can do everything that you want to do. If you go against the law or breach the rules you're supposed to operate with, you're supposed to be held to account for it. Yeah. So I've been hearing that argument consistently. Oh yes, they have this, they have that, but sometimes not having the full complement is one thing. Yeah. Secondly, the activity on the ground may not reflect what you're holding. For example, some are prospecting and yet engage in some other activity. Then the third point is that you might have the right licensing regime but be engaging in activities that are outlawed in the Republic of Ghana, or be operating in places that you're not supposed to operate. So all of those require competent men in our security institutions working with the issuers of the licenses and the regulators to get to the bottom of. That's one side of the matter. The other is assaulting and attacking people in the performance of their lawful duty. So journalism is not a crime. It's not one of those activities outlawed in the Republic of Ghana. There are many of them, but it is not one of them. Sometimes we need to remind people consistently. And journalists are not open season for anybody, any grouping, any thinking that they are going to shine light on your good deeds to attack them. Not long ago, we did the Defend Media Freedom campaign. Mm-hmm. The crux of the matter is the same thing that's happening on the ground today. Is that you cannot purport to have the laws in your hands and attack journalists and go free. The impunity with which some of our people behave in various parts of this country, from politicians down, sometimes is nauseating. And this is just the reason why we continuously tell people that I hardly see, frankly, doctors being attacked in the performance of their duties. I hardly see that happen. I mean, maybe it happens, but I don't know. Nurses, it hardly comes to mind that the lawyer was standing in the courtroom advocating, and he was attacked by people So why is that people feel that when it comes to journalists, they have a right to attack them and do whatever they want to do? We should send signals with some of these cases, and again, strong signals. That is why I was particularly disappointed in those who said, oh yeah, they were convicted. The UTV invasion, they were convicted, and it ends the conversation there. If you don't send strong signals, other people will follow suit. They think that the law can be thrown out of the window and they'll do whatever they want to do, and very little will happen. Nobody is saying that you should be lawless in prosecuting these people, but we know how you operate in certain circumstances. We know that our system is not known for having police people who wait to do all the investigation before they go to court, or put people before court. I hope you get my point. I'm not advocating same here, but we know that when you are serious, when you're interested in the matter, your attitude, your posturing is very different.
Yeah.
And we cannot have, the fact that he's journalist of the year is not the most important part. But if you are attacking journalist of the year, then what do you do to the young people? I hope you get the point.
Yeah.
Yes, if you are bold and strong and open enough to launch an attack on a man celebrated so well for his journalistic exploits, known beyond the shores of this country, then what will you do to the lesser known ones? That's why we should send stronger signals with some of these people.
Yeah.
Because seriously, if this country had any further plus to give to a gentleman, they should be thanking him for risking his life in some of these conditions to do what he's doing for all of us, to expose what we have been sitting on and pretending is not happening in this country. Indeed, we know that even our recent interest in fighting Galamsey heavily was because he did a series before then and still doing more. So if we allow the likes of Erastus to be attacked, to feel like they can give up on the line, we are getting into bigger trouble on our hands.
Churchill.
So,
I beg your pardon. Yesterday, the police issued a statement on the CEO who had been,
Who went missing.
Beg your pardon. And once he was found, the police issued another statement. Now, I was concerned when I read the first statement that he was missing. And I was like, oh, it was a relief when he eventually was found. It is the same way I expect the police to treat this issue. You see, yesterday, 2 statements. As we speak, no statement on this issue. 3 persons have handed themselves over to the police, but that's not all. It will be important for the police to consistently update us on what they are doing. And I am going to be demanding this every day. Because this attitude of, it looks like these are people who said, Yabane was, according to what Erastus reported to us. It's the impunity. And look, nobody can take the law into his own hands. And for me, it is the reason these people must be found out and dealt with. That for people who could be engaged, for people who are engaged in an illegality, having the guts to assault a journalist reporting the event. Once the police has arrested 3, or once 3 people have turned themselves in, first of all, it will be important to know, so why did they turn up? Because, well, if they turn themselves in, they have a belief of that, okay, what could happen to them? I want the police to pick these people and prosecute them. It is one of the cases I want the Attorney General to be interested in. The Attorney General must pick this case up also and prosecute it. We're told of how in the government statement the Chief Justice has set up 4 courts to deal with Galamsey, right, Raymond? 4 courts. The TUC says 14. I'll go with the government statement. 4. We want these persons taken to these 4 courts and their trial speedily dealt with. Because we must send the right signals in this country. Look, today is Erastus. Who else would it be tomorrow?
Yeah.
And if people have the guts to say, Yabai also, and if people have the guts, look, in fact, the government itself should be concerned about this case. Because the government should be able to tell Ghanaians, we do not condone these actions. And if you don't condone these actions, by now they should have issued a statement condemning it. As usual, many people are quiet in this country. It's as if nothing has happened. For Christ's sake, this is a man who has dedicated his life to expose the desecration of our environment. Reason we're having a conversation today, reason we're talking about, because to be very honest with you, we on the Super Morning Show started this whole renewed coverage of illegal mining.
Yeah, just a few months ago.
And he's been one of the persons who supplied us with a lot of the information we need. So I entreat the Ghana Police Service to arrest the remaining guys. And I urge the Attorney General to take this case out too.
Look, I'll just end on this. I ask myself how this could happen. And unfortunately, part of the reason is just us as a people, right? We have unfortunately lowered our standard and accepted certain things to be normal, which are not. But we've accepted them to be normal. An example is this idea that it's okay to beat a journalist up if you disagree with them. And you see, the leaders among us, the people we revere the most, propagate such a message. Somebody who has called out openly for people to attack journalists wanted to be president and had massive support in his bid to become president. We were willing to follow him and push him to Jubilee House to be our leader, in spite of the fact that we knew that he believed that journalists should be beaten up if you disagree with them. That's who we are. That's who we are as a people. That's the reason why there is such limited outrage to what happened to Erastus. A scattering of disappointed posts on social media. That's it. We are all quite okay with the idea that the one person who wakes up in the morning and while your job is to go and sit in an office and type on a computer, his job is to risk his life to identify and point out the people who are poisoning your water for you. But we are okay with him being beaten up. We're quite fine with it. Our life goes on. We get upset about all kinds of other things. But a journalist being beaten, that's not so bad. That's who we are becoming as a people, and it is scary. The second thing I'll mention very quickly is that, look, the porous manner in which government is fighting this Galamsey thing. One of the side effects of it is that two of the most efficient and effective organizations in any civil society, the police and the military, are being rendered ineffective by politicians. The military, those guys, they don't fail. Oh. When you send them on a mission, they are on it until they succeed. Their record around the world is impeccable. The Ghana military, their record around the world is impeccable. But here in Ghana, we have made them ineffective by giving them contradictory orders. Go and fight Galamsey this morning. Oh, this evening, stop it. Come back. So the Galamsey continues, and it looks like the military failed. We are giving a good organization a bad reputation for our personal gain. I just wonder how TUC feels now. I wonder how they feel. They've come from a position of making demands, set demands, and saying, we will not budge until you meet these demands, to capitulating and saying, okay, now we'll watch you. Okay, now, before you capitulated, we had Galamsey, we had turbid water, we had poisoned water and land and degraded forests. We had all that. Now it's been what, 3 weeks? What do we have today? We still have Galamsey, we still have turbid water, we still have polluted land and degraded forests. But guess what else we have? We have assaulted journalists too. Is the situation better or worse since you capitulated? Why are you still quiet? I'll leave it there.